So for our final segment of our first podcast, you guys excited for this? We got Argument of the Week. So this is our own little creation of a segment that I'm really proud of, that we came up with. So us three as individuals, we always argue with each other. So we thought we would make it into a segment. So we have 2 to 3 questions a week. We each get 1 minute. So I'll be the judge for the first one, and you two are firstly off against each other on a question. So you each get 1 minute to answer. So you get a minute and you get a minute. Once that minute's done, I will be the judge and I will decide who won that argument. And you, the fans at home, could also say in the comments who you think won each one.
And leave your own opinion.
Yeah, right. and we're gonna make it like a competition. We're gonna keep track of the records and everything. So for the first argument of the week, I'm the judge. It's Nick versus Jared. Here's the question. You guys ready? Because Nick is gonna go first. Should the Jets re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick is the first question. Are you ready?
Yep.
I have the timer ready, so when you're ready, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. I don't think that the Jets should re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think that he's going to do nothing but get them mid-round draft picks. He's not going to win them the Super Bowl. It's not worth it because they're not going to be able to rebuild by just keep getting mid-round, first-round draft picks. They're not going to get that star player that they need. I see that they got that first year of Ryan Fitzpatrick teaching Bryce Petty. They see what Bryce Petty has and what he could do, and just see if he's even worth keeping. Let him see what he could do in the preseason. Just see what goes on. And if he does bad, oh well. Then go to the draft, and now that you have that early first-round pick because you guys did bad, you go draft your quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't going to do anything for you other than get you mid-round draft picks into the playoffs. So, that's what I feel.
That's it. 50 seconds. Good job. All right, so Jared, same question to you. Should the Jets re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick? In 3, 2, 1, go.
I think that the Jets actually should re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like Nick said, see what Petty has, whatever. I don't agree with that. It's kind of like what we did with Geno Smith. The Jets did with Geno Smith because, they threw him into the fire. He was talented. I mean, he really was, but the development just wasn't there. I think another year under Fitzpatrick, Bryce Petty will really flourish, and, I think he'll do eventually better in the future. Maybe, like Nick said, you see what he's got, but why not, Fitzpatrick is comfortable under Chan Gailey. Another year with Fitzpatrick, another year with Bryce Petty learning from him. I think that's invaluable to the development of a young quarterback in Bryce Petty. And I think eventually, maybe he's got good stuff, maybe he doesn't, but I think eventually he can be the quarterback of the future. Such as, I know Fitzpatrick's no Peyton Manning, but just like Osweiler with Peyton Manning, another year under mentor, I think that's good for him.
All right, done. 1 minute on the dot. Alright, so now that I see both of the arguments, I make my decision now. And my decision is going to be, I personally agree that I'm not being biased on the argument. I agree that Ryan Fitzpatrick should be resigned. But based on the arguments alone, I'm going to have to go with Jared on this one. Solely based on the fact that your main argument was that Bryce Petty is the future and that we should give him a chance.
No, I'm not saying he's the future. I'm saying that see if he is. See what he's got.
Exactly. So see if he is, but I just don't think that you should give we should not get a backup like Ryan. If you re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick and maybe have him as the backup, but don't just get rid of Fitzpatrick and let Bryce Petty be the guy and don't have a guy to back him up if he doesn't do good. That's the only reason why I'm giving.
Yeah, but if he doesn't do good, that's okay because then he's not the answer. But then you go to the draft is what I was trying to say.
But then you don't really know that until the season. So that's just the only reason why I would say Jared, because solely based on the fact that you don't know if Bryce Petty's ready.
Okay. So for the next one we have, should the Dolphins try to get rid of Ryan Tannehill? So I'm the judge for that, and it's going to be AJ versus Jared. Don't forget, leave who you think won the argument or what your argument is. So, for the first one, who do you guys want to go first for that?
I'll go first, I guess.
You'll go first? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me 1 second. I'm just duplicating this tab. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I know that most people won't agree with me on getting rid of Ryan Tannehill. I do believe that they should. I don't think they should just get rid of him. I think that they should just try to trade him or try to I don't know, try to do something with him because he's not the quarterback that everyone thought he was going to be. He's a very good quarterback. I don't know about in that system. He's going to excel more than he has already because I think that right now how you see Ryan Tannehill is what you're going to get. And he's not like even a top 10 quarterback. I don't know, like maybe like a top 15 quarterback. Right now he's like a game manager. And right now that Dolphins team, very mediocre. It should be really, really good, but it's not. And you need that quarterback. I don't know. I think they have a pretty good, like pretty high draft, I think 9 or something, right? I think that they should probably get like Jared Goff in the draft if he drops to you, and then try to trade Ryan Tannehill because again they don't have a good cap situation. They just re-signed Tannehill's like a big contract, so if you get rid of that by trading him or cutting him, I think that is worth it, and you get someone in the draft.
Bang, middle of the dot. All right.
Alright, Jared, don't get rid of your thing. I'm just gonna do the stopwatch.
Alright, no problem.
Alright. So for the next one, we have you and
You.
here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
I really don't think the Dolphins should get rid of Ryan Tannehill. I mean, he is still a young quarterback. He was just drafted in 2012, but I mean, I like what I've seen from him. You know, the team surrounding him hasn't been as good as it could have been. I mean, yeah, he does have semi-deep wide receivers with Jarvis Landry being pretty good, and then, you know, the rest of them role players at best. Regardless, quarterbacks like that don't come around very often when they're that talented, you know. He's like, I don't know, it's like tough because, you know, like AJ said, he is a game manager, but I feel like under the new coach, he can definitely thrive and be better, you know. They haven't really been playing to his strengths as a team with Philbin and Dan Campbell being the coaches, but I really think that he can take a step in the right direction, and I don't think it's time to give up on him yet, still being a young and talented quarterback.
Yeah, well, I agree. I personally don't think Ryan Tannehill should be let go, and I feel like you brought up a very valid point, saying you don't come across quarterbacks like that really that often ever, and the odds of you getting another Ryan Tannehill or better is much smaller than you getting somebody worse than him. So, aside from all of that, just solely based off of your arguments, I do think that Jared brought up more valid points, so I think Jared won that one.
Okay, and
the last argument is going to be, I'm the judge, and it's AJ against Nick, and it's, do the Giants take a step back without Tom Coughlin as their head coach?
Right.
And
I'll go first.
Alright, cool.
Alright, I'll start at 3.
no.
Oh, sorry.
Alright,
You got it?
3, 2, 1, go ahead.
So, I don't think that they'll take a step back. I mean, anything's possible, but Eli Manning had his best season with Ben McAdoo, who's now their new head coach, as offensive coordinator. It was his best season ever. And I think that Odell Beckham's only going to get better, the players around him are only going to get better, and that offensive system with Shane Vereen and all of them only got better with him. I think that now that we're like the third best team in terms of cap, the Giants are, I'm a Giants fan, that's why I keep saying where, but I feel like they can make moves, and we have an early draft pick, we're the 10th pick, so we could, could make a nice move in terms of that, and the team can really only get better. I mean, they could be the same, but I don't see them being like dramatically worse. Tom Coughlin was a great coach, but he got too consistent, and he wasn't the answer anymore. So it was time for a change, and it happened.
Alright, cool.
Okay, so I'm up.
Yep.
Alright, so you
Ready?
can cut it down.
Alright, here we go. You ready?
Mhm.
Alright, cool. 3, 2, 1, go ahead.
Alright, so basically with Tom Coughlin leaving the Giants, again, the Giants are an okay team. What were they, 8-8 this season? 7-9, something like that?
Around, I can't think of
7
6
and
and 10? I don't know.
So 7-9. So I don't think that they can like get any worse, but they can, because you wouldn't think that, because Tom Coughlin is the heart and soul of that team for I think 12 years he's been there. Heart and soul of the team. He's a very good coach. He won 2 Super Bowls, but for the past 4 years he hasn't made the playoffs or had a record of like more than 9 or 10 wins. That's not good. But the emotional stuff with the Giants right now with Tom Coughlin. You saw Eli Manning at like his final press conference. He was crying his eyes out. The emotional stuff that's going to happen to Eli Manning and that entire team might be enough to not turn that team around. I don't think Ben McAdoo is a good coach to like just start off the head coach right now, but I think that they will take a step back because Coughlin named for a year. They might be better the year after, though.
All right. You know, I agree with Nick. I don't think that they're going to take a step back, but I'm going to give the win to AJ just because I like the points that Nick brought up, but I love the point that AJ brought up about him being the emotional leader of that team. He got the guys ready to go when they needed to go, and they really battled for him, you know? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that's not going to be the case with McAdoo, but, I mean, I just like the point that AJ brought up where he said that he was the emotional leader, and, you know, they got ready for him.
Okay, so now that we're doing for argument of the week, the score is Jared won 2 of the arguments, right?
Yep.
Jared won 2 of the arguments, I won 1, Nick won 0. So leave down in the comments below what you thought about the podcast, your differing opinions on some of the segments, like argument of the week. Thank you for tuning in for our first ever podcast. There are more to become. We're very excited about this. Hopefully you can tune in for more, and we'll see you next week.